many people have the balls of lying? Just take the bull by the horns and make a man out of mine.
Hello, this is the Real Food Alchemist, and today we're going to make some cauliflower rice. It's really simple, and just to troubleshoot before you even get started, here's a head of cauliflower. Very simple, just wash it off in the sink. Next, you want to make sure that you have a food processor. It goes a lot more quickly, or you can use a cheese grater. If you look carefully, you want to make sure that you use this side. My food processor comes with this attachment. Make sure you remove this part or you're going to have couscous instead of rice. I accidentally did that at a friend's house. It was not very fun. So make sure you remove that part and make sure that it's on the grate side. So you place that in there. I don't even have mine plugged in yet for safety. You want to make sure that you can cut this up in pretty much any way that you want to. I usually core it out. You just cut off the parts. First I work with getting the leaves and stuff off, and that's not very hard at all. Alright, next, just to show you how it's done, I cut a piece off. I want to avoid as much of the stem as possible. It's okay if you get a little bit in there. It's not going to hurt your rice at all. You just want to make sure that you're getting the least amount of it. So whenever you core it, you see how this part right here, you don't want this in your rice. That would taste disgusting. Alright, so next I put my lid on my food processor, and now I plug it in so that way I don't hurt myself. And then I stick it in there. Something's not right. Make sure I have that lined up there. There we go. And then I turn it on. Now, as you can see, if you can see, it's like, it looks just like little grains of rice. Little grains of rice, except it's cauliflower, and you're going to do the whole thing like that. It's very simple. So you do the whole head of cauliflower like that. And remember, you do not want that part. You want to make sure that you get rid of that part. Make sure it's all gone and get the least amount of the stem as possible. It's okay if you get a little bit, but you don't want it full of stem. I'm telling you right now. Alright, and we'll come back and I'll show you how to cook the cauliflower rice next. And we're back with our Real Food Alchemy. As you can see, I have magically turned all of that cauliflower into rice, and that's just to give you a close-up. That looks like rice, people. Alright. Next, you're going to take a stainless steel pan. Now, the recipe, this is stainless steel. The recipe I got this from, I guess the people used a non-stick cookware, and they only used half a tablespoon or half a teaspoon, some small amount of oil, and that didn't work. And I usually use coconut oil because usually I use this in Asian cooking and it has less of an aftertaste, but I think I'm going to use this rice to make a pizza with. So here I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to go ahead and stick that in my pan. And I'm going to turn my heat on medium-high. Next, I'm going to go ahead and work out the cauliflower off the top. You don't want to... See, I have this piece that didn't quite blend. You don't want that in there. It won't be very uniform then. And I have little pieces and stuff like that off the top. But you just kind of... You don't want to waste it, right? So get that out of there. So I get as much as I can. And honestly, making this in the food processor, you're probably sitting there thinking how much of a pain it is to clean afterward. It's not. You just rinse everything off and you don't even have to use soap. I know that might sound a little bit dirty to you, but it's really overkill to do that. Just rinse it off really good. If you get it right after you make it, it's not going to like stick to the food processor. It's going to come right off with the water. Sorry. about all the moving around. I'm probably making you seasick, but you just put it in there. And it says to do it for 5 to 7 minutes. And you don't want it mushy. You want it to have some kind of, a little bit of texture to it. You don't want it to turn into mush in here. I'll make sure I get the little grains that kind of come out of there. See how much rice that makes? It makes a lot.
It makes a lot for me to eat.
And if you hear that, that's my son Charlie in the background. He loves the cauliflower rice.
That's because I'm right here in my chair eating.
Yep, he's eating the rest of his lunch while I am making this for later. He's a slow eater. But that's okay though, I get other stuff done. Alright, here's what it looks like in here. And you see how I'm just kind of, you do not want to let this burn to the bottom. Just kind of frequently move it like I'm doing. But obviously it'd be more beneficial over the heat. And I am really weird about timers. Love timers. I set one. I get to see, 5 to 7 minutes. That way, I know that I'm not overcooking it, undercooking it. I'm a really big stickler about following recipes. And there's my son. Say hey.
Hey.
And we'll be back once it's finished. And I'll show you what the final product looks like. Alright, we're back. It's almost completely done cooking. If you can you hear that? It's making noise. It's sizzling. And I have some little spots where some of it kind of stuck to the bottom. You got to be careful. You got to keep stirring it. And then, my little cooking partner is going to make faces at you in the background just to keep things interesting. They can't see you over there, honey. If you want to be in the camera, you got to go over there.
Hey, yeah.
Alright, Charlie. So, we're almost done. We're hitting 6 minutes. I don't know if I told you before, you want it on a medium to medium-high heat and cook for approximately 5 to 7 minutes with only 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And just to let you see, it just finished at 6:24, 6 minutes and 24 seconds. I told you I'm obsessed with timers. See, it's done. It looks just like rice. And if you want to see if it's edible, whenever it cools down, I'll get my son to eat it. He loves this stuff. And
Yeah,
I'll show
I
you.
do. I pretty do.
Alright, so we'll be back for the taste test. Okay, we're back. Now that we've finished our cauliflower rice, it's done. It's cooled down a little bit. And see, it looks just like rice. I'm going to get my son to taste it.
Mmm.
So, see, he likes it. It's edible. You can use it in all kinds of things. I'm going to attempt to make a pizza crust with it tonight. You can also make sushi. You can make fried rice. And we'll talk about coconut aminos. But just to troubleshoot, you can use other oils than olive oil. You can use coconut oil, which I usually use. Just make sure you use... Charlie, I'm talking. Make sure that you use at least 2 tablespoons, especially if you're using a non-stick skillet. You don't want to have it stick to the bottom. You can also use butter, which we experimented that over at my friend Cecilia's house, and she really enjoyed it. And I think that it tasted really good with the butter, but you can taste the butter in it. So obviously, if you don't want a buttery flavor in your food, don't use butter to cook your rice. I think that that's about it. I think that you'll see that it's really easy, very enjoyable, and I hope you have a fun time making it like we did. Say bye.
Bye.